A finish jar is an ideal way to store your brushable finishes, and we're going to make one today. Hi y'all, I'm Mike Peace, and I'm passionate about wood turning. I want to help you with tips, tricks, and techniques to help you become a better wood turner. If this is something you're interested in, please hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you'll get notified of future videos. I want to thank Frank Taylor for suggesting this project. Thanks, Frank.
All right, start off, you need to pick you out a jar. I'm going to make two of these. I'm going to make a small one out of this baby food. I've had this for a while. Apparently, we used to feed our shop fairies this Gerber baby food, and I saved this. This is several years old. I'm going to use this taller one. It's a pretty good size. I like a straight shape. And I want a small jar. If you want a jar you don't have any at hand, you can always pick one up at Hobby Lobby's or Michael's. This is a canning jar, so that's always an option. Next, you're going to have to pick up some stock, flat stock. It could be most any kind of hardwood, dried wood. Could be three quarters to about an inch, depending on the size of your lid. And if you got a larger lid, you may need something closer to an inch stock. But for these jar lids that are a little smaller, 3/4 is going to be fine. The handle, we're going to make the handles about 4 inches long, or for a 4-inch scrap of wood, maybe approximately an inch in diameter. The finished handle is going to be somewhere around 3 inches. I had some of this that's laminated. If you have some round stock you're going to cut on a bandsaw, be sure you use a V-block to safely cut it so it doesn't spin on you and cause any accidents. This is maple and perhaps walnut, and then this is a little piece of dogwood. We're going to use cherry. So first thing we're going to do, generally we're going to mark centers. So you can go from corner to corner with your square block. And then I like to mark it with a center punch. And then I'm going to go ahead and mark a circle on there just so I've got a feel for what this thing's going to look like on one side. And it's a little small for that one, but I've got a larger block for that, but it's plenty big for this jar right here. For the other one, I'm gluing a piece of walnut on it just for decoration. I had this piece of maple glue block in my glue block drawer, so I thought that's what I'd use. So we're going to wait till that dries, and then we're going to come back and start turning.
Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the handle blank and we're going to mark centers, and we're going to turn it and shape it between centers. Let's round this off. I said start with a 1-inch blank, probably 7/8, probably plenty big. Now, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a 5/8 inch tenon on here because that's what's going to secure it to the top. So let me get a close idea what 5/8 is. And we're going to want to make this close to a 1/4 inch deep. Use my wrench to kind of size it out here. So I get this handy template that I made for doing just such things, and let's make sure. Uh-oh, I overshot it a little bit. That's too loose. So I think I'm going to reverse this and do the other end. See if we can't get a little closer. And that's so snug on that end. I've got to change drives to one a little bit smaller. Not a problem. Just another opportunity to be creative. Let's see if we got a pretty good mechanical fit. Oh yeah, now that one's nice and snug. Okay, so now we've got the handle tenon size. Now all we got to do is shape the handle, round it off a little bit. I'm going to leave that final shape at the bottom. So when I mount this on the handle blank, and this spindle roughing gouge is a pretty good tool for just shaping this whole thing. I think I want to make this the smallest area here. A little bit of a bulge on top. Now we'll use a spindle gouge for final shaping. I'm going to part this off down here with a bulge. All right, we're going to sand this up a little bit. Okay, I kind of like the burn marks I've got on this other one, so I think I'll go ahead and do that. So I'll use my trusty point tool. And we'll just put a couple of grooves for the wire to run in. I've got this thing going pretty high speed. Let's just hold this in place. Drop your handle and back, get a little more friction. And there we go. All right, now we're just gonna take it down some on the end, part it off. So I'm gonna do that with a skew. This is really not as hard as it looks. It's just a simple D-cut. Now, the discretion is the better part of valor, so I may just slow this down just a bit closer to 1200. I could put this in a chuck or call it chuck, but we're just going to try to ease it out. One hand operation here is a little tricky. That's close enough. Easy enough to use a little Japanese crosscut saw. So we're just gonna ease off the tailstock just a little bit. There we go. And we can touch that up with a bit of sandpaper. Now let's go ahead and prepare for the lid. We're going to turn this lid between centers. But I'm going to use a different tailstock because I want one that doesn't have a point on it to make it a little easier to get this flat. Whoa. Uh-oh. That's laid plans of mice and men. That blank got destroyed. And I'll admit I was only wearing safety glasses. I probably should have put my face shield on afterwards. I don't even think this will work on a small one. Let's see here. Let's pull it off. All right, so I stepped over there, picked up another little square. I'm not even going to bother to nip the corners off. If you're sawing this out, yeah, you could nip the corners off. But I'll tell you what, it takes so little time to get this round, I wouldn't worry about spending too much time nipping the corners off. Now let me go get my face shield on. And again, using a small bowl gouge.
You can see how quickly that takes. It's not worth spending any time nipping the corners in most instances. Okay, let's take the dividers and see where we're going with this. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is just make a tiny little tenon here to hold in the chuck jaws. So I'm going to use this handy beading parting tool. It doesn't need to be more than 1/8 of an inch. Okay, now we'll put this in the chuck jaws. Should have made the tenon even smaller, but that's good enough. Alright, I've already got this marked on this side. That makes it easy. Go ahead and put this out of the way. And we're going to take the lid and mark how deep this needs to go. Alright. There's a couple of ways we could do this. We could do this with a Forstner bit and then clean it up. Or we could just use a spindle gouge. That's what I'm going to opt for, because I believe for something small like this, the spindle gouge is just as fast. So I'm going to just tin this as a box lid. Use a 1/2 inch spindle gouge coming in right on center. And then holding it flat, just sweep it across. Stopping just short of the line, we'll clean that up with a scraper. I think we're going to use another set of calipers to measure the depth. Set the top side. Now I've got that end to kind of eyeball. Okay. It's just a little raised in the middle, so it'll come over to the side. Now, just about perfect. Now all I need to do is take a scraper. Alright, so we're going to use a box scraper. Got a profile less than 90 degrees here. Cutting on center. Got to lift the handle a little bit. And let's clean up the middle first. And just come across without going too deep. Now we're going to come in here close to this angle. This is the edge got to be, I've just got to line this up visually with the lathe bed. Alright, still got just a little bit of a bump here. Now it's just trial and error with the lid to get it to fit. My golly, there's not a lot of trial. There wasn't room for error. I just need to get it just a hair deeper. So we're going to just come straight down the wall. Now we're just going to use this edge of this ruler, and I can look at that, and it's come bringing it across, and it's reasonably flat. So I'm happy with that. So I think now we've got it. Clean that out a little bit. But yep, good snug fit. Now we're going to drill a hole all the way through while this is in the chuck for the screw that we're going to use to hold the handle. So I'll size this drill bit, I believe it's 9/64 to match this coarse screw that we're going to use to fasten the brush inside. So let's get our Jacob's chuck.
And again, this little trick, when you have these small bits, if you'll put them in off the lathe like this, you can verify that you got it centered. Otherwise, you're going to get a wallow a hole. Okay, I'm just going to round over that edge and maybe put a little bit of a V-groove here. Actually, there's no reason to put a V-groove. If this was smaller, you might put a V-groove here. When we turn this around, you can see that'd be another option for chucking it, but obviously these jaws are not big enough for that. Let's take that out, set it aside. I'm just going to round that over a little bit. And I'm going to use my point tool just round it a little bit.